Illan, thanks for taking the time today. I'm curious, for you guys coming off of that disappointing, loss in the playoff final last year and the message for you guys coming into this season, what did that look like? What are the goals of this squad?
Yeah, of course. I mean, last season it didn't end like we wanted, but this season we go again, and even stronger, I think, than last season. So it will be a very interesting and competitive year for us, and we will give literally everything to get promoted again.
That's such an interesting dynamic that goes on in the championship, right? You guys have had a great start to the season, and there's this expectation that Leeds has to be amongst the best teams. So emotionally and managing expectations, how do you take this championship season? Because it's expected that Leeds gets promoted, or at least fights until the very end, right?
Yeah, I mean, of course, when you are a big club, everybody expects you, the best, and the best in this league is to get promoted. But it's more difficult than this, each game are so important. When you will arrive in also winter period, it would be very tough because with the amount of game that we will play in a short period. So, it's just try to be, as regular as possible and try to, beat everyone and keep the most clean sheet. And it's just step by step, and try to move forward all together.
I think this is the first time the sun is shining in England. It's right in our camera. So you have a really cool filter right now.
It's natural, guys.
Well, speaking of the weather, Leeds, known for not having the best weather, all the rain that comes down, the sun making a brief cameo for once. What's worse, the weather in Leeds or the weather in a place like, say, Brittany?
To be honest, I have to be honest, that is pretty similar, maybe in Brittany it's a little bit more warm, but yeah, it's pretty similar, the weather. So when I came here, it wasn't a big shock or big changes for me.
Illan, funny enough that now the weather's a topic. It's funny because there's so many different things throughout the championship season. Because I think of classic, can you do it on a cold, rainy night in Stoke, right? That's the classic thing that everybody says. And there's so many different situations presented throughout a season in the championship. It's so grueling. Do you think it's one of the most difficult competitions in the world?
Yeah, I mean, it was my thought when I came here, 5 years ago already. But to be honest, yeah, it confirmed, I could compare also with Premier League. And Premier League, I think the level of player are better, but how tough it is to fight, it's very difficult because it's like a marathon, you play 46 games plus League Cup games. This is, you finish the season with more than 50 games just with your club. And then you have to think also for international player who play almost 10 games or so. So you finish the season, you are more than 60 games, sorry. So, yeah, this is very difficult. And when you want to reach the Premier League, you have to be on top all the time. So, this is very demanding as effort, mentally, but also physically.
One of my proudest moments was when I found a bakery in New York City that makes the Brittany version of Queen Amon. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. So I hope you've been able to find that in Leeds.
Did he say it right?
Yeah, it was not bad, to be honest.
No, okay, how do you actually say it, though?
Queen Amon.
Queen Amon. Okay.
So close.
I will correct. Especially with your deep voice, it sounds even better. But my question for you is, obviously not a bakery-based question, but you played under Bielsa. The U.S. men's national team just hired Mauricio Pochettino, who comes from the Bielsa line. So maybe give us a little bit of insight as to what it means to play under Bielsa and some of the things that you might have learned under his style.
Yeah, I mean, Marcelo, when he was here, was a top manager. He's still a top manager, we can see with his national team. But yeah, what I learned a lot is you know, train under pressure. You know, it just forces you to be on top all the time and be more than professional on the pitch, but also outside the pitch at home. So yeah, he demands a lot, you know, from his players, and you know, we just give everything for him. So yeah, to be honest, Marcelo is a top manager. I'm very grateful that I could play under his commandment. So, and also right now, it's good for United States that they can have also a manager who has inspiration as Marcelo. So I hope for them that they will get a very good result.
Very cool. I actually have one question. I heard about this thing that Bielsa would do in training called murder ball. And sometimes he would do it before games. Can you explain to me what that is?
Yeah, murder ball was literally like 11-11 on smaller pitch. And then you just have one player and just you follow him. So, you know, you just hope that the player that you mark, you know, is not that fit as you. Because if he's fitter than you, you know, you will run a lot, you know, and if he see that you don't mark him, he's just shouting on you. And yeah, to be honest, this is a very, very tough exercise, very demanding for players. And but, you know, of course, after that, you have a great aptitude, you know, and performance.
Illan, Alexis here mentioned Marcelo Bielsa. You were also managed by Jesse Marsch, and now you're managed by Daniel Farke. It's managers that might have different approaches to the game. I think Bielsa and Jesse a little bit more similarly, but there has been change throughout your time at Leeds. Do you think there's an underlying factor, despite the change at the club between the three managers?
No, I mean, you know, like right now we have Daniel Farke, you know, and he's an experienced man of championship, you know, when we can see his result with Norwich as being very tough. So, you know, Daniel, you know, is just, you know, how to win, how to keep clean sheet and how to get out of this league, you know. So, to be honest, this is the difference, you know. With Jesse, it was more like counter press, I would say, directly, you know, recoup the ball when we lose it. So it was very demanding, you know, for the player at this moment. And yeah, Marcelo was just everything on the attack, and it was very spectacular, I think, to see, to watch. So yeah, it's literally three different styles of football, you know. But as a player, you have to adapt, you know, for all of them, and this is the most important, to be honest.
So you've been at the club for 6 seasons now, and although you're still young, you've had a vast array of experiences. One of your experiences has been with actually playing with quite a few American players. You go through the Premier League, you go through one you play with right now, and your teammate Brendan Aronson. So what's been the influence of both American players at the club like Leeds and fans at a club like Leeds as well?
Well, can you repeat?
I said, what's been the influence of those American players at a club like Leeds? And also, have you seen an influx of American fans at the club since their arrival?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, you know, like right now, Brendan is playing with us, and you can see his beginning of the season is very, very top. You know, I'm very happy for him. And yeah, of course, in the past, we have also, like, if I remember, Tyler Weston. Yeah, Weston, I think is everything. Yeah. So yeah, to be honest, it's cool also that, you know, with the 49ers, you know, we have also some American, but, you know, players to be good. And right now, you know, we cannot say anything. We're more than happy, you know, with Brendan right now. So I just hope that he will continue like this and give us some assists and goals to help to reach the promotion.
Illan, you all are still undefeated on the season. You're going to take on a Burnley team this weekend that's also gotten out to a strong start. What's going to be important for you guys in this game to come out with another result this weekend?
Yeah, absolutely. Burnley is a very good and strong side. So it's like a game of Premier League. So we will be more than focus, to beat them. And of course, we want to still to stay unbeaten, and hopefully, keep also a clean sheet to move forward.